All right, guys, welcome. We only have a four-game slate to talk about here on Monday. Kind of weird because usually we have big slates on Monday, but really appreciate all you guys coming to check out the live stream again. It'll be Q&A style, so leave questions in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. I feel like this is a slate or a small slate where we have just so many question marks, which I kind of like. Right, I actually prefer slates where we have a lot of a lot of guys' status kind of up in the air. But yeah, for a small slate, there are a ton. I mean, a ton of question marks. So like, let's see. Does Underdog, do they tweet out like what we're waiting for? Let's see. Usually they'll tweet out like midday, like everyone's status that we're still waiting on. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So Zach LaVine, questionable. Nikola Vucevic, questionable. Kemba, questionable. LeVert, questionable. Not expecting DeAndre Ayton to play. Mitchell Robinson, questionable. Jared Allen, questionable. And then, right after they tweeted that out, Mike Conley, out. Bojan, questionable. Ingles, questionable. Royce, questionable. Hassan Whiteside, expected to be in, not listed on the injury report. So, yeah, I mean, it's looking like with Utah, a lot of guys out. They're kind of just going to punt this game, but we'll have to see, right? We'll wait for confirmation on that. We might not get it until after some of these games lock, but I think it should be a fun 4-game slate, guys. I really do. So, again, if you guys do enjoy the live stream, just make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Again, I post YouTube videos every day, do live streams. Try to do live streams at least 3 times a week. So, again, I'm really appreciate all the support, guys, and happy to answer any questions. So leave them in the chat. And yeah, let's do it. So, let's see. NFL. Yeah, NFL. So, I played the Saturday only slate. That didn't go well for me because I stacked the later game. But Sunday, or like the 4-game main slate went really well. Ended up stacking Kansas City Buffalo. I feel like a lot of people did. Stephon Diggs is my one letdown there, but I had Josh Allen. I had Kelsey, who obviously had that late touchdown. So I had a lot of exposure to that game. That worked well. I also had Fournette and Mike Evans in the early Sunday game. So, yeah, all in all, it's a profitable NFL weekend, except for the Saturday only slate. Value bigs, assuming their main big is out. How do you have them? I think Noel, Biombo, then Javel seems like soft. For value bigs, assuming their main big's out, how do you have them? I think Noel, Biombo, then Javel. Like, are you talking about like who I prefer of those guys? Noel's in the bottom of the list. He's the worst point per minute guy of the 3. Do you find single entry tournaments better chances to win big money than 20 max? I think it's better ROI. You can win more money in the larger field tournaments, but I think it's easier to have a better ROI in the smaller field stuff. Whiteside distant fourth, given his form and conditioning concerns. Yeah, we'll wait on confirmation. Like, he's missed 3 or 4 games, so we'll wait on Whiteside. I see you always play one lineup and do wells. Yeah. I mean, I focus on single entry. You know, there's people are 150 maxers, people are 3, 5, 20 maxers. I like only building one lineup, but yeah, everyone to each their own. Fading first game's lawless news. I feel ya. What do you do with Vooch out? So I would assume that Tony Bradley starts, and if he does, he would be another value big in play. Cam, man, what's up? $50 super chat. Wow, man, that's super generous of you. Let's get it, DK. Let's get it, man. Really appreciate it, and let's have a big night. Congrats again last week. I know you had a massive week, so really appreciate the support, dude. Really appreciate that. That was not necessary at all. Is this an NAW night? Yes, we'll wait on Devontae Graham news. He's another one that we're waiting on, right? So if Devontae Graham is out, then it could be. They would either start him or Alvarado. So, yeah, again, we'll wait on news for that. Now, as far as who starts for Brandon Ingram, I would assume that's going to be Garrett Temple. Like, I don't think they start NAW and Devontae Graham together. Favorite Jazz? A little bit hard to say, right? Because we just don't know the status of Bogdanovic. Here, let's see. I might have to refresh this. Let's refresh it just so it's so up to date on Draftkings here. So yeah, we don't know the status of Bogdanovic, Ingles, and Royce. Like, if they're all out, then like Clarkson is just going to dominate the usage. He might shoot 30 times. Rudy Gay's going to look good. You know, Pascal's going to look good. Probably like Butler and Trent Force become in play. So yeah, 3.9K for guard. Again, a little bit hard to say with all this news, right? So let's see. As it stands right now, probably NAW, but that's subject to change, right? So I would say don't build out a lineup yet, and don't be trying to make your final decisions yet until we get some of this news. Taking on Clarkson tonight always feels like he falls short of upside games. Yeah, I mean, if all those Utah guys are out, he's just going to dominate the usage. So I think he'd be a good play in the mid range. Obviously, he's been struggling a bit of late. But, I mean, if all these guys end up resting, it's going to be like, what, Jordan Clarkson, Rudy Gay, and a bunch of, like, end-of-the-bench guys. So he's going to look good if all those guys end up resting. Kevin Love season potentially. Yep, another one, right? So Jarrett Allen is questionable. Now, I don't know what Cleveland's going to do. They can do a lot of different things. Like, they've shown, it feels like it's weird because Dean Wade's been out of the rotation, but I feel like when one of the bigs are out, they just love starting Dean Wade. Like, I don't know why, but the Cleveland Cavaliers they love Dean Wade. Like, when they're healthy, he's out of the rotation. But when one of these bigs are out, Dean Wade is going right into that starting lineup. So, again, I would actually guess that they start Dean Wade. Now, they have Markkanen out too, so, like, they could go a lot of different ways. They could start Love. They could start Garland at the point, Okoro, one of Stevens or Osman, Mobley, Love. But yeah, they can do a lot of different things here. Thoughts on Cam Johnson? Pretty safe value, right? He's one guy that there's a lot of guys who are waiting on status. Phoenix, we know what's happening, right? DeAndre Ayton not expected to play. We already have Crowder and Campaign out. So Cam Johnson's most likely starting and playing over 30 minutes. So we know that he's safe value, in my opinion. Now, is he a value play that has the most upside? If we get some other news of other guys out, there's probably going to be other value with more upside. But right now, I think he's very safe, right? He's one of the Suns are a team we kind of know what's going on. One of the few teams in the small slate, we know what's happening, right? The Jazz, we have no idea. The Pelicans, we're not sure yet. The Pacers, don't know with LeVert, right? The Bulls, very much don't know with two main guys questionable. So, yeah, Suns are one of the few teams who actually know what's going on. Shea or Garland? Yeah, that's a good question. I think Garland is a little bit safer. Now, the only issue I have with Garland is this game just sucks, right? Knicks, Cavs. Whew, right? That is just an awful game. I mean, both teams play at a snail's pace. I think the Knicks play at the slowest pace. The Cavs are like 26th or something. So, I mean, it's a 202.5 over under. So, like, SGA is in the much better game environment. Now, I think SGA has a lower floor, right? Because the Thunder are awful. So, like, we've seen games where the Thunder get blown out and SGA, he can hurt you. But he also, he has a good amount of upside. So, I think the floor is a little bit higher on Garland. But I think the upside, if things go right, is a little bit higher on Shea. Because I just like the matchup better, right? Like, the Knicks, they just, brutal. Okoro or NAW. So, yeah, I mean, again, it's hard. I'm going to say that a ton. Like, I'm going to say it's going to be like a broken record. But with Okoro, you really don't have a lot of upside, right? Now, the minutes should be there for him, right? With Okoro, we already have Markkanen out. Like, he's already been playing around 30 minutes. So I think he's probably your safer bet. Now, if Devontae Graham is out, then I just think NAW has more upside, right? Like, NAW has shown that he's going to be aggressive when he's on the court. So the upside play is NAW. The safer play is Okoro. And again, it's hard to say right now. LeVert looks good. Yeah, I think LeVert looks great. I think LeVert looks really, really good. Prize picks, yeah, we'll take a look. Here, let's refresh. I was looking to see if they had any stuff for the Jazz. I didn't see anything yet. But let's go over to fantasy points. I mean, again, they have a ton they added points plus rebounds, assist. Love it. Let's see. Is there anything that stands out to me? Honestly, not really. So what you could do here is, if you like Utah's looking like they're going to punt this game, right? So one strategy you could do is, maybe you just play for the blowout and you take a lot of the unders on these Suns guys, and hope they just, blow Utah out. You could do that, but like just straight up looking at this, and we don't have anything in Utah on the board. There's nothing that's standing out to me right now. That's like, oh my God, I really like this, right? Like I think Cam Johnson 22.5 probably goes over that if he plays his normal minutes, but yeah, I think what you could do is like you can maybe play for the blowout there and take some unders in the Suns guys. But you could get burned by that, right? Because there's no campaign. So if the game does stay competitive, you're probably seeing 35 plus minutes from Paul and from Booker, right? DK, you about to have that sparkle in your eye? You know it, man. Whenever I talk about Nurkic, I got that sparkle in my eye. Don't want too much value to open up because the payups aren't there to make me like a Stars and Scrubs. Might have a great Stars and Scrubs lineup. Yeah, I mean it's not like a normal slate where you have like the Giannis's, the Jokic's. There's not a lot of spend ups, but there's still like a good amount of guys in this 9K range. So you can plug like three guys in and then go value. So no, what's up, man? Good to see you. Whiteside or Goga? So as it stands right now, I'm going to say Goga. But if we get confirmation there's no limit on Whiteside, then it's going to be a really tough call for me. Because, both are good point per minute guys. I would say Whiteside, if they both play similar minutes, if Whiteside plays 35 minutes and Goga plays 35 minutes, I'm going to rather have Whiteside, right? Both are productive on the court. Whiteside is just more productive. Now, the question here is, all right, Whiteside's missed. I feel like he's missed like the last 3 or 4 games, right? When was the last game he played? Last game Whiteside played was 110. So, yeah, it's actually been a little bit longer than that. It's been like 2 weeks since he's played. So, the question here is, does he get his full allotment of minutes, right? Like we've seen, like if he gets big minutes, he can smash. So I'm going to say Goga right now, unless we get like confirmation that there's no limitations on Whiteside. And we might not get that news, which would make it tricky, right? It could be a situation where you just get news that Whiteside's starting and there's just no news on whether or not he's going to be on a limit. And that's just the worst case scenario because then it's just kind of a guessing game. If I had to guess right now whether or not Whiteside would be on a limit, I would say they somewhat limit his minutes. I don't think he's going to come out and play 35 minutes after missing the last 2 weeks of COVID, but you never know. Sykes or Osman or NAW if all start NAW, right? He's just the guy that has the most upside in my opinion. Yeah, I think that Cam Johnson looks a little bit too low. Like he's going to play over 30 minutes if the game stays competitive. Goga, Jones, and JV as starting 3. Yeah, I like Herbert Jones. Goga and JV obviously look good too. So no issues with any of that. Again, Herbert Jones, we saw a couple big games from him, right? When, the Pelicans were shorthanded. He had a couple like 40-plus fantasy point games. So if LeVert plays, is Duarte out of play? That's a good question. Is he out of play? No. Is he a guy I'm going to prioritize? Nah. Right? Because then Duarte would probably play second fiddle, probably third fiddle to Goga and LeVert, right? The minutes will still be there, right? He'll probably still play low 30s minutes with LeVert in, but he's not going to be that guy that has, the massive upside, right? He's going to defer a bit to a guy like LeVert. So is he a guy I'm going to jam in? No. Would I still be fine playing with LeVert in? Yeah, I would still be fine going to him. I just don't think he would be like a guy would be like, he would be someone like a last piece in for me if it works, right? If LeVert's in and I have like 6'3" or whatever Duarte is, I'm fine playing him. But I don't think I'm going to go like build out my lineup and start it with Duarte if LeVert's in. Yeah, so we just went over Whiteside versus Goga, right? If they both play like 30-plus minutes, I'm going to prefer Whiteside. But I would assume they kind of take it easy on his minutes and do something like play him like start him and maybe play him low 20s and maybe they dust off Udoka as a Buki and he gets some run. Maybe they run a little bit of Pascal at the 5. I think ownership will be spread out today. Kind of depends on news, I guess. So it's a little bit hard for me to say that right now with so many guys' status up in the air. JV with Goga. So we're on over Goga versus Whiteside. If Levine plays, is DeRozan still in play? Yes. DeRozan would still be in play. Kind of the same thing I'll say about Duarte. If like we have both Vooch and Levine in, am I still fine playing DeRozan? Sure. Am I going to prioritize him? No. It would just be a situation where, okay, if I need one more spend up and I have 9.1K remaining, I'm not going to say no to DeMar DeRozan. He's not out of play. It's a good matchup. But he wouldn't look as good if both those stars are in. You reach out, DK. They said they will be doing con. Let's go. Okay, I was actually gonna DM them soon. That's great news. I cannot wait for Call of Duty after watching that the tournament this weekend. So I can't wait for that to play some DFS. Fave center point per dollar Whiteside. Okay, yeah. So we went over the Whiteside news, right? We don't know right now with his minutes. So like, if we do get that confirmation that there's no limit on Whiteside, he plays over 30 minutes. I mean, I think the answer is Whiteside there, right? Because McGee and Biombo are splitting the minutes. Now, if we get news he's limited, then it's pretty close, right? Because then I think all three to play similar minutes. I think if Whiteside's limited, he's playing like 20 to 25 minutes. And I think obviously we're going to get similar minutes for McGee and Biombo. So then it comes to a situation where like I don't have a super strong lean with those guys. Mobley over 15.5 points. Don't have a super strong take. If you're confident that Jarrett Allen's out, I think probably lean the over. But right now it's up in the air. So I hope Whiteside isn't limited because I feel like he can make McGee look. Yeah, I mean Whiteside's a guy that he's just gonna be productive when he's at the court. He's not a good real life player at all. Like he's awful defender. Doesn't do anything to really help the team besides just put up stats. So he's kind of like an Andre Drummond-esque, right? They're not going to help the team, but they're very good DFS players. Yeah, I think Herb Jones is safe, right? Herb Jones is one of the guys where we know he's going to get a little bit of bump without Brandon Ingram. It's a decent spot. He's already playing big minutes. I think he looks pretty safe. What is a player stock site called? What do you mean? Let's see. Jordan Clarkson. Yeah, if all his Utah guys are out, Jordan Clarkson is probably going to shoot like 30 times, right? So I think he's going to look really good. I feel JV will still find a way to bust. I mean, I think he looks good, right? Could he bust? Sure. I mean, people can bust in a good matchup. It's possible, right? But like Jonas Valanciunas, Goga is not really a good defender. Neither is Isaiah Jackson. So, it's a pretty good spot for him without Brandon Ingram. Usage should go up a little bit. So I think he looks good. Is there a way he could bust? Sure. He can get in foul trouble. It's, things are possible, right? Kemba in. Okay. I'm kind of glad he's in. Because I really don't want to deal with the Knicks secondary options. I hate that team for DFS. It caused me a lot of pain. You like NAW stuff. If Graham is in, he'll be lower owned to get more run with Ingram out. I'm not sure if he gets more run with Ingram out. So, like, from what I've heard already, NAW is going to be popular. If Devontae Graham's in and NAW is going to be chalk value, as much as I love playing NAW, I'm one of the biggest NAW fans. If he's going to be extremely popular with Devontae Graham in, then I'm fine fading. If he's going to be low owned, as you said, with Graham in, then I'm more willing to take a shot. From what I've heard, though, I think he's going to be relatively popular either way. 2,500. So it's a good question. On a small slate, I'm more willing to leave salary on the table, right, to get different. But 2,500, I think, is a little bit too much. So like, I think you can leave 1,000, maybe a little bit more on a small slate like this. 2,500, I think, is a little bit too much. Mitch Rob, game time decision. I would guess he doesn't play. Yeah, I would guess he doesn't play since he didn't return last game, but we'll see. Guys, we're at 100 concurrent viewers, 21 likes. If you do enjoy this live stream, just make sure to hit that like button. Really appreciate you guys coming to check out the live stream. Esports CFS, yeah, man, I love it. CSGO, COD, it's a grind, but COD especially is my favorite. Bismack, he's been playing like Shaq, right? Bismack's been playing out of his mind. The issue here is the price, and I don't know if he's going to be super popular. Like McGee did get in foul trouble. I think he's playable, but there might be other centers that look a little bit better. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Biombo. I think he's in play, but he's not going to average like 50 fancy points in like 28 minutes. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, the Knicks game's brutal, right? It's two teams that play extremely slow. Who will play the blowout for the Suns? That's another great question. So, yeah, if you are going to play that route and you want to try to take a shot in like some extremely low-owned guys, Jalen Smith, he's going to play in the blowout. Alfred Payton's going to play the point guard. So Alfred Payton's going to be in the rotation no matter what, right? He's going to be the backup now with Campaign out. And if the game blows out, again, it's just a large field tournament play. I'm not by any means saying to play Alfred Payton with confidence, but he's going to be in the rotation, right? He's going to be the backup point guard this game. And if this game does turn into a massive blowout, if the Jazz punt it and the Suns are up by 25 midway through the third, well, you're probably seeing all the garbage time for Alfred Payton, who actually is a pretty solid point per minute guy, a guy that can contribute in a lot of different ways. So, like, in a super large field tournament, I could see taking a shot on him, or like a Jalen Smith who's been out of the rotation. So those two will play in the blowout. I think Landry Shamet plays in the blowout, and then probably, a couple of these end of the bench guys. So, yeah. Let's see. If I could only play CSGO, DFS in New York, go to Esports, been following it for years. Yeah, that's kind of weird. So I went to New York. I was in New York, a few months ago for the New York Marathon, and I was trying to play CSGO, and I was like, it wasn't letting me. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what happened? It said my account. I was like, what? Like, did I get banned or something? And I was like, oh, I forgot. In New York, you can't play Esports. Yep, so Jordan Clarkson, we already know Mike Conley's out and Donovan Mitchell's out, so he looks solid. He's going to look pretty good if all those other questionable guys are out, because it's just going to be him and a bunch of end-of-the-bench guys. Do you think LeVert plays tonight? I mean, I think it's pretty 50-50. He's missed the last couple of games. It's calf soreness, so it's not like a major injury. It's not like a hamstring. If it was a hamstring, I would be a little bit more, worried. It's calf soreness, so I think it's pretty close to 50-50. Yeah, Herbert Jones versus Rudy Gay. So, good question. I think if the Utah guys get ruled out, I think Rudy Gay has more upside, right? Rudy Gay's been, even at this point in his career, he's still a good fantasy point per minute guy. Just make sure he plays, right? Because you remember when Utah, 3 weeks ago or something? I don't remember. I don't have a good sense of time for DFS. The days blend together. But remember that game where Utah rested everyone, and then Rudy Gay, we got news that he was going to play, or like he didn't show up for shoot around, but was in, but coming out the bench. And then we got news like he was out like a few minutes before lock. So just like make sure he actually ends up playing if they do end up resting these guys. So I could see them resting Rudy Gay too. Yeah, I think it's okay. If I'm going to fade one game, it's going to be the first one. Stock market site. I think it's Jock Market. Jock Market, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I agree. Again, I haven't played. I don't play anymore myself, just because I don't have the time. But from what I've seen, other pros, they don't like Vanguard. Now, watching it, like I watched that this weekend, it was actually still pretty fun to watch. But I guess it's not very enjoyable to play. So much value, not enough good spend ups. I feel you. So you see the UFC as their own top chat now. Yes, I was in the first stress test. And let me tell you, it was very stressful, right? It was very, very stressful because so it was a situation where you got an error when you went to buy the pack. And they said in the Discord, you're either getting the pack or you're getting your money back. But we didn't know which one it was going to be. So there's people, someone said in the Discord, someone was like, oh, yeah, I got charged for 15 packs, but got none. So it's like, they didn't know if they were getting the pack or their money back. I tried to buy like 5. I got 1, and I got my money back for the others. But like, yeah, it was stressful. And I don't know anything about UFC. I do have 3 moments, but I know nothing about the product or nothing about UFC. All in Jazz, all Jazz in. Got okay. Oh, did we just get that news? Okay, so that is I'm a little bit surprised if we did just get the news that all those guys are in. Oh, are you just saying if all the guys are in? Because they're not in, right? Clarkson or Whiteside if he plays? Well, Whiteside's going to play. Whether or not he's on a minutes limit, we don't know. So, like, I'll say Clarkson right now because we just don't know the new news in Whiteside. How do we attack guard spots today? It's a good question. I will just say monitor news. That's kind of how I'm going about it. First game's pretty ugly. I need the news in these later games. So if we don't get news before lock in a lot of these games, I might just full fade the first game. DK, what do you think of Alvarado from New Orleans? Another good question. I think he's in play. He's going to look a lot better if Devontae Graham's out. Would you take over JV 19 points or over 13.5 rebounds? Let's just say. I mean, I think this is a good spot for Jonas Valanciunas. But, I mean, those numbers feel right. Like, I don't think there's a huge edge in going in over in either of those. Rondo game tie decision too. Yeah, so if like Rondo plays, it would make the value a little bit riskier there for Cleveland. Jerry might be negative 10% out tonight. Yes, with all the center plays, I think he will be negatively owned. Dean Wade is starting. Yep, I told you. Did we just get that news? They love, right? He's out of the rotation when the team's healthy. But when one of those bigs are out, oh, they love starting Dean Wade. And it's just like so annoying. Like, why are we starting Dean Wade? Do we get that confirmation? Or Mark can expect to miss a couple games? Oh, I haven't seen it yet. But that's most likely what's going to happen. They love doing that. Sykes or Osman? So it depends on a few things. One, we don't know the status of LeVert. So if LeVert's in, I'm not playing Sykes. That's just straight up. If Karis LeVert's in, I'm not playing Sykes. If LeVert's out, I think Sykes is a fair value play. Probably starts and plays 25-ish minutes. With Chetty, if he starts, I think he looks like really good value. He's a good point per minute guy. If he comes on the bench, he's a little bit riskier. So hope that kind of helps. What is Asser and I'm your UFC dude. Let me know what you got. Oh, okay, yeah. I got, let's see. So I got Rakic, Lawler, and D. Chierko. Someone said that Lawler was probably my best one. I guess he was a former champion. But yeah, those are the three I got. Booker or Shea? I'll say Shea right now. Cold War is better than Vanguard in my opinion. Yeah, I didn't play either, so I don't have an opinion on that. What do we think about Bataja? I think he looks good. Right? We know he's going to start, and if he stays out of foul trouble, play pretty big minutes. So he looks good. With Miles Turner, he looks good if he can stay out of foul trouble. I think the only concern you have with Goga really is the matchup, right? He's going to be matched up against Jonas Valanciunas, and without Brandon Ingram, the Pelicans are going to run a lot of their offense through JB. So I think that's the concern you have with Goga is potential for foul trouble. Dean Wade trash. Yeah, it's like no one wants Dean Wade to start. No one. 7.8K for utility. So let's see. Where is 7-8? Again, it's gonna be hard to say right now with all this news. I'm gonna say Clarkson. Because we already know right Mitchell and Conley are out. So he's most likely starting. And if all those other guys are out, he's just going to get more of a bump. What do you think about Lance? Yeah, so Lance, for me, it depends on LeVert. If LeVert's in, I'm probably not playing Lance. If LeVert is out, then you have Lance that will become in play for GPPs because he's going to get minutes out of the bench. And he's shown like he does have upside when he's on the court. He can, he's had a couple of really big games. So he would be playable in tournaments for me if LeVert is out. If LeVert's in, I'm probably going to stay away. Not even Dean Wade wants him to start. Yeah, exactly. Lawler, Hall of Fame. Okay, yeah, so I think that's a pretty solid one then. All right, guys, any other questions? I can stay on for a couple more minutes if need be. Really appreciate you guys coming to check out the live stream as always. And I wish I could be more definitive with my answers, but it's really hard to say when you have just so many question marks on the slate, right? So like a lot of like the 1v1s is going to come down to, all right, well, does this guy play? Does this guy play? So sorry if I couldn't be more definitive on some of those. Trent Forrest and Elijah Hughes. Yeah, so those guys would be in play, in my opinion, if all the Utah questionable guys are out. Like, let's just say if Utah if all these questionable guys are out, okay, so who are they starting? Well, most likely it's going to be Clarkson, Trent Forrest, I think is the two guards, Whiteside at the 5. If Rudy Gay is playing, he's probably starting. And then maybe Pascal starts. Maybe they start Danwell House. That would probably be like what they do for starting lineup. Thoughts on Lou Dort? Doesn't really stand out. Doesn't stand out to me. He'll play probably over 30 minutes, but more of a secondary play. What is Broderick Thomas? Oh, that Broderick Thomas slate. That was a fun day in DFS last year. That was a fun day. I had a lot of people. I had like the angry mob gif. I had a lot of Broderick Thomas truthers come at me that day. That was fun. Favorite chocolate bar? Is Reese's considered a chocolate bar? What has been your favorite COD esport to watch? Like, which favorite Call of Duty game? Black Ops 2. Yeah. I was competing then. It was the best game to play, in my opinion. Best game competitive. So, yeah. Black Ops 2. Mobley or Jonas straight up if Allen is out? Good question. Still would be a lean to Jonas, but would be pretty close. And it would also depend on what the Cavs do the starting lineup. Does Mobley start the 5? Do they start Kevin Love? If Kevin Love starts, it's actually... I don't know if Mobley gets a huge bump if Kevin Love starts, right? Because Kevin Love's a high usage guy. If they start Dean Wade, I think that's a positive for Mobley, right? Because then Mobley's going to do a lot more offensively. If they start Love next to Mobley, I don't really think that helps Mobley too much. Anko, what's up, man? Herb Jones season, he's safe, yeah. Jonas, yeah, I mean, those Pelicans guys look good. Ready? We winning, yeah. Can we get the Broderick Thomas backstory? Yeah, so last year, it was a slate where the Cavs were thin. They were shorthanded. And I was streaming on Patreon, and I don't remember like who exactly was active. But after we got like the game locked, and then I checked out ownership, and I saw like 50. Broderick Thomas is like 50+% owned. And I was just like, why on earth is Broderick Thomas so popular? Like, what are we doing here? Why is he so chalky? And then so like I released that video. I'm like, why on earth is Broderick Thomas so popular? And he ended up playing like 10 minutes and had like 1 fantasy point. And then I had like an angry mob of people that were like, well, Broderick Thomas projected really well. He projected well, bro. How do you not play Broderick Thomas? You got lucky. I got all these people like so mad coming at me. So that was basically the backstory of I thought I didn't really think like he was in play. And he was like, once we got news after lock how popular he was, I was like, why is he so popular? Posted that video, had an angry mob of people telling me that I got lucky for fading Broderick Thomas. So yeah. Favorite CDL team? Oof. This year, I kind of like Seattle's team from what I saw. The young guns and Sib and Pred. They're looking like a fun team to watch. But yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite. I mean, obviously, like I like Optic. Grew up watching Nashon and Scump. So, do you see all Knicks not hitting value? I mean, it's a gross game environment. We have Kemba Walker in. So in my opinion, there's no one that really stands out on the Knicks. Yeah, oh yeah, they were. I mean, again, they're a dangerous team. Shea or Paul, yeah. So that again, there's blowout risk in the Utah game, right? So I think Shea might be a little bit safer, but I think both have good upside. If I knew the Jazz were going to keep this game competitive and Chris Paul played 38 minutes tonight, my answer would probably be Chris Paul, but there's a decent chance it does not stay competitive. Black Ops 1, oh yeah. Black Ops 2, yes sir. Oh, used to compete. Yep. Oh yeah. Started back in Call of Duty 4, went to a bunch of lands. DK the GOAT. All right, guys. Well, I am probably going to call it on that, but really appreciate you guys coming to check out the live stream. Hope you guys have a good night in NBA. It was nice talking some Call of Duty as well. Excited for that one, guys. Enjoy your night. Again, hopefully we have some big winners, and I will see you guys back here. Probably going to do YouTube live stream tomorrow. Again, enjoy doing these live streams Q&A style, so make sure to check that one out, guys. Good luck, and I'll see you all in the next one.